Care colleghe e cari...
Dear fellow members, I would like to start by thanking Prime Minister Ardern and Vice President Harris for accepting our invitation to address our Assembly today on the occasion of International Women's Day. We will be reflecting together on the challenges ahead of us. Thank you very much, President von der Leyen, for being present with us in the chamber today, Vice President Jourova. Our countries and societies are united by historical, cultural, political and economic ties which run very deep. And of course we're going through a very dramatic period at the moment worldwide. We want an economic and social recovery which leaves nobody behind. Today this celebration cannot be mere words, because we're right at the beginning of right in the middle of a dramatic period. Women and young women and girls have been in the front line of this crisis. They've been suffering the economic, social and material consequences of this pandemic in their everyday lives. Simone de Beauvoir said, "You should never forget that it will only take a political, economic or religious crisis for women's rights to be questioned again. We cannot ever take them for granted. We should remain vigilant throughout our lives." And I believe that that phrase is a very pertinent one as we go through this crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, COVID-19 has not only consolidated injustice and inequalities, but it's also questioned achievements, unraveled achievements about cohesion, about independence, about the relationships we have. Basic rights for people to make their own choices about their relationships. Women have been losing jobs and losing out on benefits. Those who've worst suffered the economic impact of the crisis have been sectors such as tourism and culture, leisure, catering, where many women work. The labour power of these sectors is mainly women. 76% of healthcare workers across the EU, 86% of carers. What this pandemic has done has obliged many women to work part-time, to stay at home and look after their children, the elderly, people with disabilities. Poverty has a face in Europe, and it's a woman's face. It's a mother's face in Europe. In lockdown, too, we've seen more women suffering violence. Violence committed by a partner, perpetrated by a family member. Women have been unable to escape because, incredibly, we don't have enough refuges, shelters, we don't have enough hotlines for people to turn to. The victims of violence do not have enough people to turn to. And so we've seen a perverse impact of our economic and social model, which is blaming the poor for being poor. What the pandemic has done is show the extent to which caring for others is vital to a society. It is a public good. We must defend it. Caring for others is something which mainly women do, but actually it's everybody's responsibility. We should see it as a public good too. Ladies and gentlemen, we can only combat this pandemic and its social and economic impact now and in future, the impact on people's lives, if we put women and girls at the centre of our response. Not because of some general principle, but using the powers that we have, the powers that Parliament has, the power that institutions have, to improve people's day-to-day lives, women's day-to-day lives, to take a step forward and not a step backwards for women as we build back better. This continent has been at the forefront of defending women's rights. We're now called upon to defend true equality for women on behalf of us all. Women should be equally present in the centres of the decision-taking process as we build our recovery. So the directive on women on boards is vital. It's been held up for too long in Council, and I count on the Portuguese presidency's support to achieve this vital aim. But that is not enough. We need wage equality, equal pay for equal work. The average European woman earns 14.1% less than the average European man. That is not acceptable anymore. We are willing to work on the Commission proposal for wage transparency, for that to be binding. It was presented yesterday. We'll put that at the heart of our work. Parliament, as you know, has been fighting for the gender dimension to be mainstreamed right across our 7-year programme for recovery. In all the national recovery plans, it has to be at the heart. This is not an abstract concept, because if our recovery is to have equality at its heart, then it will truly make an impact on people's lives, and more specifically women's lives, across the EU, in cities, in workplaces, in schools, universities, research centres. And this is not a time for rhetoric and fine words. We need to ensure that violence against women is deemed a serious crime, considered in practical terms a serious crime, right across the territory of Europe. That should be our undertaking. All EU member states should ratify the Istanbul Convention. We should make violence against women a crime in the EU, not as an abstract concept. This is about who we are. This is about our identity as a global actor and this has been such a dramatic crisis. It has shown us how important it is for the EU to be a different place, a place with greater equality. We have instruments available, we have resources available, and we need to show unity of purpose. It's been such a dramatic year for all of us. We want to achieve a fairer economy now as we come out the other side. Women, young women, girls need to be at the heart of recovery for our economies and societies. That should be our aim. That should be the aim of us all, women and men, in 2021. Thank you very much.